How you doing, Coach? Do you feel like the refereeing kind of took you guys out of your game as the Rockets started to pull away there late?
The refereeing? No, it had nothing to do with us at all. No. I wish I could blame it on the officials. Nothing to do with the officials.
Billy, if I would have told you before this game that they would have shot as poorly as they did from three, and would you have thought your team would have won this game?
Well, I don't know. I actually thought we did a pretty good job from behind the line on them. I thought we made them take some obviously some tough shots. But I thought we gave up way too many second chance opportunities. That really hurt us. I think it was 21-0 at the half, and we were down by 5. But they hurt us on the offensive glass there. And then obviously they made some threes, and we didn't obviously score very much in the third and the fourth, and they scored probably at their normal pace. So that's why I think it got so out of hand for us.
Billy, what did you think of the way switching everything on Harden ended up working throughout the game?
Well, I mean, it was fine. I mean, obviously he scored a lot of points, but I mean, he took 28, 29 shots, and I thought he was efficient with what he did. But like I said, when you're dealing with a team like them, there's a lot of pick your poison, so to speak. He and Beverly and a little bit with Lou Williams took the majority of the shots, but somebody's going to be going at somebody. Someone's going to try to create. I thought defensively, I thought our first shot defense was pretty good. I mean, now there was some things late where I thought we gave up too much at the rim. The deep paint was a problem for us. I thought we did not make good enough decisions in terms of having enough resistance at the basket. Some of that may have been them concerned about stopping the three. But I think we can do better in those areas than we did certainly tonight.
Eric Horney, Oklahoman. Billy, what did you think about Russell's ball handling tonight? He had 9 turnovers. I know some of those were, trying to find some guys for passes, but it also seemed like there was some full court pressure coming from the Rockets as well. And Russell.
Yeah, I don't think he necessarily turned it. I don't think he turned it over from the full court pressure. He maybe had one there, but I think some of it was getting deep in the paint there and trying to make passes, and maybe in some tight areas. Russell's a guy that always self-adjusts pretty quickly. He'll look at the tape and watch the tape and figure out the adjustments he needs to make. But certainly that number of turnovers, for him, I know he certainly doesn't want that.
Billy, you mentioned Beverly a little earlier ago. How did he impact this game? It seemed like when he really got going, that was about the same time that the game turned, and you guys were never really able to get back into it. Yeah,
I mean, he played a very, very good game. I thought he impacted the game way more with his energy, his effort, his hustle, his loose balls, his offensive rebounding, keeping balls alive. That's where I thought he really did a great job.
Coach, you guys had a pretty bad opening loss last season during the playoffs to the Spurs. Do you relay any sort of similar message this time around, or is it just a completely different animal in that sense?
Yeah, I always think it's different. I mean, if there's one thing that you can learn from last year is that obviously it's to 4 games. The first team to 4, they're up, 1-0, whether it's 5 points, 20, 30, 40. I mean, the bottom line is it's still 1-0. Certainly, we know we have to do a lot of things better against, certainly a terrific offensive team. And I mean on both sides. We need to play better on the offensive end of the floor and the defensive end of the floor.
Billy, what in your mind was the difference between your offense in the first half and the second half?
Generally, when the ball doesn't go in the basket, we had a hard time. I thought scoring there. We got a little bit bogged down here and there, but overall, you got to be able to make some shots, and we were unable to do that at a high enough level.
Billy, how do you get guys like Steven going and Victor going? They both had their quiet nights tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Victor, was 1 for 12. I mean, I don't know how he's got. Obviously, I thought he took some pretty good shots and did some good things. I thought Steven really made some relatively good decisions. They're a team that's not going to allow him to play one-on-one, and a lot of times he's going to be forced to pass it out of the post. And I thought he did a pretty good job from that standpoint. And I thought he battled in the first half on the offensive glass, so we need his presence there, even on some missed shots, to give us some second chance opportunities.
Billy, what went into the decision to use Norris off the ball first and second half?
Well, probably a little bit more with their lineup of going with Lou Williams and going with Gordon, and Beverly. They're basically almost playing 3 point guards out there. And, I thought it'd also give us some spacing with some shooting and also some defense.
How do you make sure that your team shakes this off and doesn't let it linger into Wednesday?
Yeah, I think with the leadership of Russell and Nick Collison, those guys have been through a lot of playoff series in their career. They understand this is one game. It was a disappointing game. And, we'll have to, like I said, play a lot better. And I think our guys know that, and I'm sure they're happy and excited about another opportunity to be able to come back and play on Wednesday.
Billy, you referenced the rebounding earlier. You guys were first in the league in rebounding rate, and you were minus 15 tonight. Does that strike you as a huge surprise in the course of this game?
No, not at all. Because we need to do a better job, and this has been something all year long for us. We've got to do a better job of one, rotationally blocking out, and two, we got caught too many times where we were in between making a decision of whether to help or not, and we were like in the lane. So when the shot went up on the weak side, we were not going back to find our man to block out, and that enabled them to get a lot of backside offensive rebounds, which really hurt us.
Billy, can you just talk about the job that Andre did tonight, both ends of the floor?
Well, Andre did a great job, but one of the things that I felt like we did was they're a terrific fast breaking team, and I thought in terms of our fast break defense and just trying to defend them in the half court in terms of the number of threes they take, I actually thought we did a pretty good job in both of those areas. Again, I thought a lot of it got into a lot of ISO with James, and he's really, really good at that. And they just played a lot of ISO ball with him, and he generated a lot of stuff for himself, and he scored, really, really well. We had to switch several times just on certain situations. But I thought Andre battled him as well as he could. And, listen, James is great. At the top of the key in the middle of the floor where he's got a lot of, room to operate because he can pass, he can shoot, he can score. But I think for the way we were playing on defense in terms of schematically what we were doing, I thought we did a pretty good job. We just need to execute a lot better.